Will Washington, Grapsity
Yes.
on Fightful.com. So on the topic of one Swerve Strickland, he made what some might call a high-profile debut tonight. Can you talk a little bit more about, without I guess getting into the creative plans, what you see for him as a performer in the future?
Well, I think I have a lot of ideas coming out of the pay-per-view. You always have to look and we'll look at where the injury toll is, and I'm going to check where the body. There was a lot very hard-hitting pay-per-view, so I don't want to speak for anybody till I get their medical status. But there's a lot of great opponents in AEW for them, and a lot of them went through crazy matches tonight. We'll see who's available on the roster, but I know that there's big matches and dream matches involving Swerve, and I'm very excited that he made his first appearance in AEW tonight at Revolution. I thought that I wanted to have it, in addition to Lord Regal coming after the Danielson-Moxley match, I wanted to debut a star who I think would be great for us for the future, and that's Swerve. And I was, again, somebody else who I was very surprised would be released because he had done very well, I think, in the matches and in out the segments I'd seen, and he was somebody I really liked, and so I was looking to snap him up, and I thought Revolution, such a great night of great matches, would be a great stage for him to come out, and I think it was a very high-profile debut, and again, he's a great wrestler who now we have that many more dream matches here in AEW. Thanks.
Right next to Will. Righteous Reg, Pro Wrestling
Hey, Reg.
Illustrated, Grapsity Podcast also. Kind of along the same lines, Swerve Scott was signed today. Recently, Keith Lee, AQA.
Swerve Strickland.
Swerve Strickland,
And then
sorry.
Keith Lee, AQA.
Yes. Keith Lee and AQA, kind of a part of me. I created a Black Wrestling's list, 500 Black Wrestlers. I'm interested in Black wrestlers. There was a controversial tweet by yourself very recently concerning a released wrestler. How do you feel like you have bounced back and kind of aided in there being more Black representation on AEW?
Well, that was always my goal, and I think that was the point I was, it's been a long time, but that's a point I've been, eager to make, is that I've always cared about that representation. But as you've seen in recent months, there's also contracts starting to expire. I can't renew everybody, and in the time that's passed since then, I think people have seen I'm serious, that I'm going to start signing more people, and the people you've all named have debuted here. Keith Lee, AQA, and now Swerve Strickland, and many other debuts in that time, and that have been great debuts. And I think in addition to people coming in, there's also going to be people coming out, and I tried to do it based on merit. And that was the point I was making at the time, is I'm going to evaluate people based on how good I think their wrestling is, in addition to a variety of other factors, and nothing else, but that I am always prioritizing the diversity. And I think that we've made huge leaps and bounds in the time since then, and I can see that you're nodding that you agree with me. And also, that was going into the Jade's championship match and her dominant run, and we didn't mention her, but I think she's been a dominant champion.
Great match tonight.
She had a great match tonight, and to be honest, I offered her the opportunity to come in here and be on here with all the champions. But I'll be honest, she's a big time star. And she wanted to move on with her night. It's not that I didn't invite her to be here. She just didn't want to screw around and wait around with it all. Jade had bigger things to do, But she's and you can see when she's out there, she's the boss. So I think. I'm very excited about what we're doing, and she's a great wrestler, by the way, and I have to say that since I brought her up, and she's not in the scrum to talk about it, and he's not in here to talk about it, she's really she's worked with, speaking of representation, Sanjay Dutt, who has done a great job with her, and that's not who you thought I was going to say, because there's been more headlines for the other person, but Sanjay Dutt also represents, I think, great representation in pro wrestling. When I was growing up, there was nobody who looked like me that was on TV, that was pushed, and that had any gimmick that wasn't really offensive and particularly really could go. And Sanjay Dutt, I didn't really look up to growing up, because we're literally the same age. We were born the same year. And when I was in college, it was a guy, when I was finally like, oh man, this is a guy who looks like me and who can really go. And it's great working with him and having him here. And he's been really great for Jade. He's a great thinker. In general, he's a great person. And also, Brian Danielson. And Brian Danielson has a great mind, so that's the person who's not here. Also, who's done a great job, I think, with Jade. And I'd asked him to please help, try to help coach somebody who I see a ton of potential in, and I think is already was the Rookie of the Year and could take it to another level now in year 2. And tonight you saw that. I thought her match was excellent. Ty Conti, then, speaking of which, tremendous, also great representation, and had a tremendous match, and has a lot to be proud of, because even though she hasn't won the title on the last 2 pay-per-views she's been on, she has been excellent, and that's that's very typical of her. And in between, she had one of the best TV matches in recent memory, along with teaming with Anna Jay against Penelope and the Bunny in their street fight, which was a tremendous match on Rampage. And Ty Conti, that's why she is the most improved wrestler of the year. So you saw the Rookie of the Year and the most improved wrestler of the year in a great match. That I was really happy for both of them also. So thank you for asking that.
Hi Tony, Mike Dagger for Lucha Libre Online. So I wanted to ask you, you already have all of the pro wrestling hardcore fans on your side with AEW, right? What is your plan for the casual fans to bring them over to AEW to be able to watch your product, right? And also, I have a question on top of that, is what is your plan for your Spanish viewers and your Latin American viewers to be able to give them more of AEW?
That's a great question. Let me take that one first, and then let me go back to your first. So your first question was a little bit broader, so come on, let me ask you your second one, and then I'll ask your first one again.
Yeah, the second one was, so, what is your plan for the Spanish viewers?
Yes, absolutely.
And Latin America to bring them more of AEW?
Absolutely. So I'll take that one first, and then we'll go back to the first.
Sure.
So we're trying to put the content out in more places. Obviously, now we have a great deal with Space and Warner, working with different partners for distribution. And that will come back our great deal with Warner Media and how great a partner they've been for getting our product across to the mainstream. I think I'll come back to that in the first question you asked also. But I think to connect with that audience, obviously it goes back to it's the same subject of diversity I was just talking about. And it comes from pushing a diverse array of wrestlers. Throughout tonight, you saw that. And definitely it included a lot of great Latino and Latino wrestlers. And Ty Conti, I just mentioned, what an amazing match. It's no secret, her boyfriend, Sammy Guevara, is a TNT champion. He was victorious tonight in the Tornado Trios match that I thought was an excellent match. And on the other side was Andrade El Idolo, who was a tremendous wrestler. And Andrade El Idolo and Sammy were both involved in a match on Rampage on Friday night. Speaking of which, on the live Rampage, that was one of the best TV matches you're going to see this entire year. And it was only March, so it's still early in the year, but I'm going to say that that's a top TV match. And they really delivered. And in addition to them, there are a number of other wrestlers. Of course, the Lucha Brothers, great champions. Very unfortunate, Phoenix getting hurt, especially as high profile of a big star as he's been for us from day one, and a great World Tag Team Champion, and his brother Penta, and a number of other great stars. And it also from building young developmental, Daniel Garcia. You talk about building for the future. Daniel Garcia, one of the top young stars. And I think he, and it will keep developing a diverse group of talent, and also trying to put it out more places and trying to make the shows better and put more features and more content out there, if that makes sense. And I'm always looking to bring in new stars, and all the people I named are people that are important. I think there's some other ones too that, going back to your first question then, which is a broader question. How do you get the content into the mainstream? Well, it's great. I think we're doing things. We're working with media partners, and there's obviously some of it is being here with you, right? Because all of you put stories out, people read these newspapers, and it brings in new fans and online, and all of your various sites and blogs and vlogs and all the content you are putting out helps us. So it's why the media is so valuable to AEW. I think the great support that all of you give us by checking out our shows and giving us a fair chance to put out really good wrestling, which we try to do. So that's a big part of it, is all of you. And speaking of media, we have one of the biggest media companies and one of the biggest companies in the world disseminating our content domestically and internationally. We have some of the top partners. So I think internationally, ITV, you couldn't ask for a better partner in England. In addition, Fight TV, available all over. But for the mainstream, ITV is a great platform. TSN is a channel that people watch in Canada on a regular. And then here in America, where the lion's share of the revenue is made, we have a great relationship with Warner Media, and that's where TNT and now TBS also. It's so good for us. So speaking of what you said, you know, we had a great audience on TNT for many years, and because that audience was so good, they gave us a second show on TNT, and then we were able to move to TBS, and now we have a flag planted on both channels with the Dynamite on TBS and Rampage on TNT, plus another Battle of the Belts, which was our first one was very successful, and then more Battle of the Belts on TNT. So by being on such a big channel, it's helped us create an interest in a wrestling company in the mainstream that there hasn't been in a long time, because there hasn't really been another wrestling company that had this kind of TV deal in 20 years.
So all you guys are needing is a streaming service, right?
I can't comment on that. And I think there's a lot of things happening. It's a great question. And that's very fair too. And that would be another great thing, because with TNT and TBS to add a streaming service, that would be wonderful. But that's not all up to me in terms of I think there's a chance to work with the great media partners we have and hopefully create something. And now going back to what I said about Ring of Honor, now I would own a great library, and I think we've created hundreds and hundreds of great hours of content. And now on top of that, we're adding thousands of hours of also great content. So it's a great opportunity. So I think a streaming service would be good. But I can't say for sure. It's not 100% in my court, if that makes sense.
Appreciate the time.